Okay, Supereme Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji, you can start reading.
Okay, Prabhu. Later to Gajendra, Los Angeles, 20 July 1969. My dear Gajendra, please accept my blessings. I thank you very much for your letter of July 17, 1969, and I have noted the contents carefully. The sentiments you have expressed are very nice, and they are just sweeting for spiritual advancement. The actual Vaishnava always feels himself lowly and unqualified, but the submissiveness and humbleness in his actual qualification for becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness. In material life, everyone is thinking that I am so wonderful, I am so expert, but actually, the living entity is an insignificant spark of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So, when we see we are becoming aware of our infinitesimal nature, then we begin to also understand something of how infinitely great Krishna is. One cannot be falsely puffed up and still expect to make progress in spiritual life. Rather, one must learn to accept his constitutional position of Krishna's tiny servant. Then Krishna is pleased to reveal himself to such a devotee. And the devotee becomes more and more perfect in rendering transcendental service to the Lord. Regarding your proposal for distributing BTG through the agency you have contacted, I do not think this is very good idea at this time. Tamal Krishna has arranged so that there will be 6 devotees there in Seattle very soon. So there will be no need for such a distribution arrangement. This agency is offering you only 20 cents per issue sold, and by Kirtana party you will receive 50 cents per copy. Another thing is that we have found that our sales are much better through our personal endeavor on Kirtana party. So this agency will simply be holding so many copies for 1 month, and what they do not sell will again be given back to you to sell on Sankirtana party. They have asked you to advance $50 for their paperwork. But in Los Angeles, there was one distributor who was taking 400 copies monthly and he did not request such fee. So, as you will be having several new men there to help you after the Rathojatra festival, Sankirtan party will be the better way of distributing BTG. Regarding your question about offering camphor in Aarti, I do not know why you should be having trouble with smoke and shoot by this offering. If you use smaller pieces of camphor, this may alleviate the problem. Or perhaps you are not using the right kind of camphor. Here we are using camphor for Aarti twice daily and there is no such problem. Of course, if it is too inconvenient, there does not have to be a camphor offering. But I do not know why this should be so. I hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Now, next letter, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Letter to Letter to Hanuman Prasad Podar, Los Angeles, 5th February 1970. My dear Baiji, Hanuman Prasad Podar, please accept my obeisances. I hope by this time you have received my acknowledgement dated yesterday for your letter, dated 26th January 1970. As you want to publish a comprehensive article about my activities in the Kalyana, I think it is proper to give you a short history of my coming to the Western world. Sometimes in the year, Sometimes in the year 1922, when I was acting as manager of Dr. Bose Laboratory Limited, I was fortunate enough to meet my spiritual master, His Divine Grace Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya 108 Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. On the very first meeting with His Divine Grace, he asked me to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in the Western world. At that time, I was a young man and a nationalist, admirer of Mahatma Gandhi and Sevi Chandra Bose. So I replied him at that time, who would care for the message of Lord Chaitanya while we are a subject nation? In this way, I had some argument master with my spiritual master. And at the end, I was defeated. But at that time, because I was already married, I could not take his words very seriously. In this way, I passed on as a householder. But by the causeless mercy of my divine master, that order of preaching was impressed on my heart. I was initiated regularly in 1933 at Allahabad. When Sri Malcolm Haley, the, the then governor of UP, opened our Gaudiya Math branch there. Then in 1936, my spiritual master left this world, leaving a message for me that it would be better for me to preach in English language. So I was thinking very seriously, and then as late as 1944, I started my paper, Back to Godhead. Gradually, in 1954, I retired from my family life and began to live alone in Mathura, Vrindavana. In 1959, I was awarded sannyasa by one of my god brothers, His Holiness B.P. Keshav Maharaj. Then I began translating Srimad Bhagavatam in 1960, and perhaps in 1961 I was your guest in Gita Bagicha. You were very kind to help me partially for publishing my first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam through the Dalmia Charitable Trust. With great difficulty, I then published the second and third volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam until 1965, when I prepared myself to come to this country with some books. With great difficulty, I was able to get the P form passed by the controller of foreign exchange, and some way or other, I reached Boston on 17th September 1965. I was thinking while on the board the ship Jaladuta why Krishna had brought me to this country. I knew that Western people are too much addicted to so many forbidden things according to our Vedic conception of life. So, out of sentiment, I wrote a long poetry addressing Lord Krishna as to what was his purpose in bringing me to this country. At that time, I was sponsored by a friend's son, Gopal Agarwal, who is settled up in this country by marrying an American girl, Shali. I was their guest, and I feel very much obliged to Gopala and his wife Shali for their nice treatment and reception. I was with them for 3 weeks in Butler, near Petersburg, Pennsylvania. And then I came to New York. I was getting some money by selling my Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, I was maintaining myself in New York. After some time, I rented one apartment at number 171st Street West. But after a few months, all my things, typewriter, tape recorder, books, were stolen. Then, for some time, one of my students gave me shelter at Bowery Street. I then rented one storefront and an apartment at 26 Second Avenue for $200 per month, but without any source of income. I started my classes, and sometimes on Sundays I used to chant Hare Krishna mantra in Tompkins Square Park from 3 to 5 p.m. During this time, all the young boys and girls used to gather around me. Sometimes poet Ginsberg would come to see me, and sometimes a reporter from the New York Times come to see me. In this way, the Hare Krishna mantra chanting become very popular on the Lower East Side. In this way, the younger generation became attracted, and gradually many branches were opened one after another. After New York, the next branch was opened in San Francisco, then in Montreal, then in Boston, and in Los Angeles. We have now we have now the following centers in the States: Canada, Europe, Japan, and Australia. See insert sheet. My activities in London were begun as earlier as September 1968. I sent 6 of my disciples there, all of them young couples, husband and wives, and none of them more than 26 years old. These boys and girls first stated Sankirtana movement in London, and there were very nice reports about them. Even the Times of London printed one article with the caption Hare Krishna chant startless London. In London, there are many Indians, especially Gujaratis and Punjabis. All of them were astonished to see how American boys and girls were preaching Hare Krishna mantra. They were invited to many centers both by the Indians and Europeans, but it was very difficult to find out a suitable house there in the midst of the city. My Guru Maharaj liked to start centers in the busiest part of the city. So 40 years ago, my Guru Maharaj attempted to start a temple there, but some way or other it was not possible. Still, I cherished a strong desire to start a temple in the hearts of the city. And by Lord Krishna's grace, these boys and girls rented a five-storied house in the busiest quarter of central London at 7 Bury Place, which is near to the British Museum, London University. Uh, Great Russell Street and Bloomsbury Square. The British Museum is just a few stones on the left side of our temple. Our activities are going on regularly in London. There are about 35 English and American boys and girls. Regarding the number of ashramas, our temples are already listed above. The deity worshipped in the temples are Jagannath Swami with Baladev and Subhadra and Radha Krishna. When we first start a temple, we start with Jagannath Swami, my Guru Maharaj. My Guru Maharaj recommended temples of Jagannath in these countries. So I was inspired to establish first of all Jagannath Swamis. But because he is kind even to the malicious. Then when there is opportunity, I establish Krishnamurti. So generally in all our temples, Jagannath Swami and Lord Chaitanya Sankirtana pictures are invariably there, and gradually we are installing Radha Krishna Murti in each and every centers. The program of temple worship is as follows. Early in the morning before sunrise, there is Mangalarti. At 8 a.m. there is dressing and decorating of the altar daily. Then between 11:30 to 12 noon, Bogarti at 5 p.m. opening on the door and Duparti as well as boil Kali, Prabhuji. How to
Boykalik.
pronounce Bolkalik? Okay. In
Boykalik.
Boykalik.
Hmm.
Aarti as well as Boykalik Boga offering. In the morning, we offer fruits and milk to the deities, and at the noon, we offer rice, dal, chapatis, vegetables, milk, sweet rice, and many other varieties. In the Boykalik Bogarti, we offer fruits again. Then there is Sandhyarti after dusk, and at 9 p.m., we offer Boga of puri, vegetables, milk, sweet meats, etc. Then there is Sandhyarti, after which the deity rests. This is the general program of worship. We decorate the thrones with profuse flowers, changing the dress and ornaments daily, and as far as possible, the the deity platform and the temple room are kept neat and clean always. The devotee take bath twice daily. The government of UK has passed a bill to hand over the redundant churches to other religious sects, but the Christian authorities want good amount of money for selling these properties. So none of the churches have we been able to acquire the on account of the exo exorbitant price for which I have not got money to pay, but they are available. In London, we saw a redundant church and also in Oxford. They are very nice for our purpose, but the negotiation is very slow. Some other churches are also available in other districts, but they can be purchased. The government has no such scheme to place these unused churches at our disposal. How can we expect the government to give us any financial help while our Indian government does not allow any money to be brought from India for this purpose? How can we expect financial help from another government? Our financial budget is managed by Krishna's grace only. Undoubtedly, we have huge expenditures. For example, in our Los Angeles temple, we spend near about 20,000 rupees in our Indian exchange per month. But the devotees, boys and girls, somehow or other collect this huge amount, and by the grace of Krishna, we have no difficulty. In the most of the centers, our activities are in rented house. Only in Boston and Buffalo, we have our own houses. In Boston, we have got our own press, ISKCON Press, where our books and magazines are published partially. The major portion is printed outside our press, especially in Japan. The government is neither encouraging or discouraging. Sometimes the police department prohibits our Sankirtana party when they go out in the street. In the United States, this hindrance by the police is not very much. But in London, they have particularly practically stopped us. In Hamburg and Tokyo, there are also not very strict. In the beginning, we have difficulty everywhere. But now, as people in general are appreciating our movement, there that we are devotees of the Lord, boys and girls of nice behavior and character. They give us, as far as possible, all concessions. The government draft board has accepted our society as religious, so they are kind upon us. But we did not get any direct financial help either from the government or big foundations. Neither have we been able to contact the richer section of the people. Our initiation system is as follows. In our general tries weekly classes, we chant Hare Krishna mantra in the beginning and at the end. And in the middle, we speak on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. In this class, we don't prohibit anyone to come within the temple. Everyone is welcome. The only thing is The only thing we ask visitors to leave their shoes at the specified places and sit down in the temple cross-legged. If somebody finds difficulty to sit down cross-legged, we offer him a chair. So out of the members of the audience who come regularly, when one becomes more interested, he is invited to participate in the program of Krishna consciousness daily life and study. After some time of appreciating our program and trying to understand our philosophy, when someone is very interested and recommended by the temple commanders for becoming initiated, I accepted him and gave him first initiation in the form of Harinam in the regular ceremony with 5 sacrifice. I chant Hare Krishna mantra on 108 beads, and then the beads are offered to the disciple, which with a change of name as Krishnadas. He is advised to strictly follow the regulative principles of one number, no eating, no in the one regular principles of one, no meat eaten, fish or eggs; two, no taking of intoxicants including coffee, tea and tobacco; no illicit sex life; and four, no gambling or mental speculation. In this way, after 6 months at least, when he is found habituated to the Vaishnava principles, then he is initiated for the second time with the sacred thread. This sacred thread ceremony is recommended in the Haribhakti Vilas or the Vaishnava Smriti by Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami recommended that by the initiation process, one is elevated to the position of a twice born Dvija. This is recommended under Pancharatrika Vidhi. Under Vedic Vidhi, a student is required to be bona fide son of Brahman or twice born. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, if there are no regular samskaras beginning from Garbhodana, one is considered as Sudra. But a Sudra can be elevated to a Brahmin position by Panchratrika Vidhi. This is instructed by sage Narada to Yudhishthira in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. On this verse, Sridhara Swami has given his commentation that birth is not always the criterion of becoming a Brahmin, but the quality is most essential. In the Bhagavad Gita also, the caste system is made by the Lord Himself, according to qualities and engagements. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is stated as follows. Kirita Hunandra Pulinda Pulakasha Abhira Sumba. I am poor in reading slokas, Prabhuji. Please. Sorry, Prabhuji. Excuse. So our initiation process is executed according to authorized regulative principles. This is the sum and substance of our initiation process. In the beginning, there are given Hare Krishna, Harinam, and during sacred thread ceremony, they are given Gayatri and 18-letter Krishna mantra. The disciple chants daily the Gayatri mantra thrice, morning, noon, and evening. The beads are chanted a minimum of 16 rounds daily, or in other words, 27,648 names daily. I am enclosing here with some printed copies of the rules and regulations, 10 kinds of offenses, etc., which are regularly observed by the students. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher. You are in the service of Lord A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, kindly forgive me. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So this letter was written to Hanuman Prasad Poddar. Hanuman Prasad Poddar, वो कौन जानते हैं कौन है? अनम्यूट करके बता सकते हैं.
No, Prabhuji, I don't know.
Related to the Gorakhpur Gita Press.
हाँ, गीता प्रेस गोरखपुर के जो ओनर हैं वो हैं जिन्होंने सारी वो बुक्स लिखी, गीता प्रेस और बहुत सारी जो बुक्स आती हैं ना गीता प्रेस गोरखपुर की। तो वो उनके ओनर थे हनुमान प्रसाद पोद्दार। और 1971 में व्हेन ही before he left his body, Srila Prabhupada went and met him with his disciples and उनको बताया कि he informed about the books and they had a very good discussion. There is a photo of Srila Prabhupada with Hanuman Prasad Poddar meeting. There is a photo, black and white photo is there. And here Prabhupada mentioned one printing press from Japan where we used to print the books. Where Shiv Prabhupada was used to print the books. Who can give that name? We have read it many times. In previous letter, that name came many times, almost many times. I want to know who can tell that name. It's Japanese printing press company.
Dainipan.
Dynippon, right, right. Nippon, which we used to read when we were reading letters on book distribution. This name came again and again, again and again. So we should remember that this is the printing press where Srila Prabhupada used to get the books printed earlier, and that's the reason in letter it was said payment to Dai Nippon, payment to advance to Dai Nippon. That what does that means? So when we read letters, we need to connect the dots also. Okay, so I think time has completed. So we will continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow will be Shil Prabhupada lecture. So letters reading from Monday onwards. Hare Krishna. Shil Prabhupada.